Hey guys, welcome back. BDC Gare here, and we are back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. I do use the term we loosely here because today it's just going to be me, but getting into it, this is for the week of February 20th, 2020. The current challenge is MKX Scorpion, and that is a 1 week repeat. The required characters for that are Cyborg, Solomon Grundy, and Catwoman, who are all available at the bronze tier, so great for new incoming players. The passive is Reborn Spectre, which reads as follows. Reaching 200% damage on a special attack makes its damage over time damage automatically crit, and there's a bonus 8% health per promotion. Stats are 1200 attack and 1000 health, so that's decent medium stats. It was most recently available in July of 2019. If you're going for a damage over time team, this isn't a bad one. Getting the auto crit on damage over time can be a really big deal. The main issue is that with so many revive options and Astro Harness, which will stop the damage over time, or something like Black Knight Flash, which will reverse damage over time to gain health and gain power, you can't go with a straight up damage over time team. You always need alternative damage options, something else to shore up your weaknesses. The best damage over time option is still Arkham Knight Catwoman, but if you're going with a damage over time team based on MKX Scorpion, then Batman Returns Catwoman is a good support card for the boosted damage over time. Scorpion can also act as a tank because of his health bonus per promotion, so your third member shouldn't be a tank. Either go with a basic damage dealer or a special specialist. But in general, we're not a big fan of any of the Scorpions just because they're really slow, so they're not great as anything other than special specialists. They're not a lot of fun to play around with, and the timing can be a little challenging. This week's multiplayer award is the Cloak, which becomes Cloak of Destiny, which when fully maxed out gives you 50% more damage on crit attacks, 200% damage increase against stunned characters, and the evolved ability, which gives you a 20% stun chance on tag-in. This was last available August of 2019. The sequence of multiplayer awards is continuing. Here, as we can see, this is the 20th in a row in the sequence. If next week is Black Knight Flash, which is what we expect it to be, then that would make it 21 in a row. This is like an old legendary gear, and for the longest time, it was the only one that offered boosted damage against stunned, so it was unique in that aspect. It's probably not as good as Necron Scythe in some ways now that it's out, because Necron Scythe, just for a recap, gives you 40% power steal on basic attacks if HP is lower than 15%, 200% increased damage against frozen or stunned opponents, which is the important one here, 40% life drain on basic attacks if HP is lower than 15%, and 65%, KO an enemy to gain a resurrect with 65% HP on death, which is once per match. So just on damage output, it has a slight edge with the boosted crit damage, and if you're not planning on spending much of the fight with low health, I mean, 2 of Necron's abilities don't come into play, it doesn't matter at all. But the Cloak's chance to stun on tag-in is low enough. That's the potential advantage of having the Cloak. But for a character that doesn't have built-in stun already, like Luchador Bane, Earth 2 Flash, and teammates on tag-in, Batman and Static at the end of their special one, then you don't get nearly as much benefit. It's not consistent enough to rely on. So the absolute best is using it on characters that have built-in stun at the beginning or in the middle of a special, which, all the back rolls have a stun at the beginning of Special 2. Batman Ninja Batman has a stun near the beginning of Special 2, so he can do a huge amount of damage. And like we often say, doing more than enough to knock out your opponent is really, just for show, unless you do a lot of splash damage. So this is great with League of Assassins Knives to do splash on Special 1 for the back rolls, and Fourth World Godly Mace to do splash on Special 2 for Batman Ninja Batman, because that's when you actually get the advantage of doing all this extra damage, because for a lot of these, you're going to be knocking people out pretty consistently, whether or not you have boosted damage at all anyways. So, focus your gear on doing splash damage or things that actually allow you to make use of that extra damage that you're dealing. In the store, we have Yellow Lantern Haldorn for $26.99 Canadian. It's 1 copy. They won't unlock in your store, so it's not worth it in our opinions, but it's probably a clue for next week's challenge. In all likelihood, that's what it'll be. And that's it also comes with 100,000 credits. So, it's not one of those really awful deals where you have to pay the full price and they don't give you the credits, because that does come up every once in a while. We also have the Arkham Asylum Pack 2 for $52.99 Canadian, and that comes with Arkham Origins Batman, Arkham Origins Deathstroke, and a new, more powerful Harley Quinn. As it says in the description, it's not actually that new. They just haven't updated the description in forever. And this is also the worse out of the Arkham packs, because the other one has a chance at Arkham Knight Batman, so this one's, not particularly good, also not worth it. all of these things, they're just priced super expensively, so I couldn't recommend any of them, honestly. And in Survivor, we have the Fourth World Gear set until the 26th of February 2020. Phantom Zone is back for one more week. Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough was as expected. It was the Joker, Nightwing, and Darkseid, just as we mentioned in our last recap. And our prediction for next week, based off of everything we know so far, should be Zod, Aquaman, and Shazam based on the schedule, which we do have linked in the description for Devlin16's Reddit thread, which goes over the complete schedule. Moving on to current glitches, just remember that every working glitch is explained in a video as part of the playlist that you can reach by clicking the eye in the top right corner of this video. We are Android only, so we're only able to confirm these glitches for Android. If you're on iOS and you see a question from an iOS user asking for help in the comments, please do consider helping out. I know we don't mention that every time, but it is worth mentioning every once in a while. Be each other's community support, and we will talk a little bit about the stuff that we have good authority for iOS. It's just that we can never test them ourselves, and so we can never personally endorse them. So starting off, talking about the not working glitches, there's nothing for credits that we're willing to endorse. We'll link in the description, or you can go to season 6 episode 9 of our P&Q and CNAT. There is a 2-device glitch that we don't endorse. I think we've talked enough about those reasons that I don't need to go over them again here. There's nothing for getting repeated pass multiplayer season rewards, nothing for early multiplayer season rewards, nothing to get through the Phantom Zone particularly quickly, and the free energy without having to watch the video glitch is gone just because the button isn't there, so you can't access it at all in the first place. Moving on to working glitches, the glitch to let you play Phantom Zone repeatedly is still working. You can use it to avoid the 50 Nth metal cost for the 2 replays that you normally get, or you can just use it, once you've already used up all your replays. Either way, the challenge reset method that requires Google Play Cloud Save is working. That's confirmed on the current MKX Scorpion challenge, and we mentioned these together just because if you're using one, you're using both. So if you want to keep your progress on either of them, don't do the reset. Only do it when you're willing to reset your progress on both, or if you're not doing the challenge, for example, if you just want to reset Phantom Zone progress. And we've also cut and pasted a comment from viewer Jonathan Yang on how to reset the challenge on an iOS device, and you can find that in the description. The breakthrough glitch to let you play repeatedly is still working, and we also have another comment in the description there from a viewer with a potential solution if you're having trouble playing extra breakthroughs. We can't confirm whether or not this works since we're not having the same problem, but we figured we'd put it there as a resource in case you are having difficulties. The airplane mode / refund glitch is still working, and that's good for packs with random drops, loot boxes, and last laugh tickets. It doesn't work in the Phantom Zone when it's round because it requires an online connection, although it seems like there is a method to do it on iOS that we have not been able to find a suitable way to replicate on Android. Time shifting still works in Android for unlimited Survivor play and energy recharges. As always, return your clock back to normal before you finish, and here, in the sort of liminal space between it not working and working glitches, we have the promotion glitch, where you can promote characters that are still locked. It hasn't had the right conditions since update 2.14, so it is still not testable, and it is not usable. One of the conditions for that is having the challenge in the first slot of the main page, and it has consistently been in the second slot with a cash pack in the first. It's been this way for a long time. We're fairly confident that they doing that on purpose. So it doesn't seem like we're ever actually going to be able to use it again, but we like keeping it here just because we're sticklers for detail. And right here at the end of the video, we'd like to thank everybody who is supporting us in one way or another. So first off, a huge thank you to everybody who is supporting us on Patreon. So that's people like Console Peasant and Edwoon, who are supporting us at the top tier last word. Mohammed Albshaiti at the Your Message Here tier. We have Shawn Farrell, Daniel Simonson, Aaron Maule, and Michael DeVries. And new this week, we have Brandon C., who are supporting us on the credited level. And we'd just like to give a quick apology to Brandon, whose name hasn't been added to the video credits because we don't have access to the footage to change it this week. And we won't be and it won't be in next week Tuesday's video, which we filmed ahead of time and scheduled for upload because for the same reason that I'm filming this by myself here, my other half of the video team is currently on a trip. So yeah, we'll be on a bit of a weird schedule where we won't have our Tuesday Q&A up as normal, but then after next week where we'll have a little bit of weirdness, we might have the recap also go up on Friday instead of late Thursday. And then after that, hopefully we will be back to normal. And finally, A thank you to Chris Wolff and Scarlet Enby at the gratitude level. And a huge thank you to all of you for watching. We'll see you next time. Komoda.